Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Divine grace Abhay Charanar Vrind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Anand Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki Namachari Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta Vrind ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Shri Giri Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Navdeep Mayapur Dham ki पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की, गंगा माई की, जमुना माई की, भक्ति देवी की, तुलसी महारानी की, कलयुग पावन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, बृहत मृदंग ट्रांसीडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, ट्रांसीडेंटल प्रसादम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gouranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Louder please. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashoda Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai Shri Prabhupada Ki Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming today. A small bunch of us. Probably because it's nice weather, people have gone out for picnics. So we'll have our own little picnic indoors here. But thank you for coming today. Today we are doing the last verse of a chapter we've been doing for a couple of months now. Chapter 2. This is 2.72, Bhagavad-Gita. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Esha Brahmi Stitihi Partha. Esha Brahmi Stitihi Partha. Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. Stitvasyam Anta Kale Pi. Stitivasyam Anta Kale Pi. Brahma Nirvanam Rachyati. Brahma Nirvanam Rachyati. Esha Brahmi Stiti Partha. Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. Stitivasyam Antakalepi. Brahma Nirvanam Rachyati. Esha Brahmi Stiti Partha. Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. Stitivasyam Antakalepi. Brahma Nirvanam Rachyati. Any daring few? Esha Brahmi Stiti Partha. Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. Stitiyasyam Antakalepi. Brahma Nirvanam Rachyati. Esha Brahmi Stiti Partha. Boys. Esha Brahmi Stiti Partha. Nainam Prapya Vimuyati. Stitvyasam Antakalepi. Brahma Nirvanam. Yes, all right. Word for word. Esha, this. Brahmi, spiritual. Stitihi, situation. Partha, O son of Pritha. Na, never. Enam, this. Prapya, achieving. Vimuyati, one is bewildered. Stitva, being situated. Asyam, in this. Antakale, at the end of life. Api, also. Brahma Nirvanam, the spiritual kingdom of God. Rachyati, one attains. Translation. This is the way of the spiritual and godly life, after attaining which a man is not bewildered. If one is thus situated, even at the hour of death, one can enter into the kingdom of God. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. One can attain spiritual consciousness or divine life at once, within a second. Or one may not attain such a state of life even after millions of births. It is only a matter of understanding and accepting the fact. Katvanga Maharaj, attaining the state of life just a few minutes before his death by surrendering unto Krishna. Nirvana means ending the process of materialistic life. According to the Buddhist philosophy, there is only void after the completion of this material life. But Bhagavad-Gita teaches differently. Actual life begins after the completion of this material life. For the gross materialist, it is sufficient to know that one has to end this materialistic way of life, but persons who are spiritually advanced, there is another life after this materialistic life. Before ending this life, if one fortunately becomes Krishna conscious, he at once attains the stage of Brahma Nirvana. There is no difference between the kingdom of God and the devotional service of the Lord, since both of them are on the absolute plane. To be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord is to attain the spiritual kingdom. In the material world, there are activities of sense gratification, whereas in the spiritual world, there are activities of Krishna consciousness. Attainment of Krishna consciousness, even during this life, is immediate attainment of Brahman, and one who is situated in Krishna consciousness has certainly entered into the kingdom of God. Brahman is just the opposite of matter. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti means not on the platform of material activities. Devotional service of the Lord is accepted in the Bhagavad-Gita as the liberated stage. Therefore, Brahmi Sthiti is liberation from material bondage. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has summarized this second chapter of the Bhagavad-Gita as being the contents of the whole text. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the subject matters are Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. In the second chapter, Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga have been clearly discussed, and a glimpse of Bhakti Yoga has also been given as the contents of the complete text. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports to the second chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita in the matter of its contents. Srila Prabhupada ki. Om Ajnanitimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Khadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Brindabaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarobhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So, we finished another chapter. After, I think we started the Bhagavad-Gita going verse by verse, I think around 2 years ago. So we've only got to the third chapter so far. It's so sweet. Um, so as Prabhupada was saying, the second chapter, actually I'll just do a little summary. The Bhagavad-Gita, what is it? Arjuna, the great prince, he's on a battlefield. His cousins and relatives are on the other side. He doesn't want to kill them, but it's war. He's a soldier. So he has a mental breakdown. But luckily, Krishna, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is his friend and his charioteer. So whilst Arjuna sees and has a kind of life crisis, he starts questioning everything, as one would. When you have a mental breakdown, you can't even comprehend anything. Question every single thing that's going on in your life. So Arjuna is asking, is this right? They're my family. Maybe I should just leave the war before it starts. Maybe I shouldn't do anything. Maybe I should just go, live a saintly life. Leave everything, the whole kingdom. But the kingdom is rightfully his part of the family's. It would affect his part of the family as well. So he starts thinking what to do. What's the meaning of life? I'm a Kshatriya, I should fight, but they're my family. I shouldn't fight them. Is being a Kshatriya, is fighting the right thing? Is not fighting? To fight or not to fight? That is the question. So then he has a mental breakdown. He starts questioning everything. And Krishna says, pull yourself together, man. And then Arjuna starts asking all questions. And Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, reveals all his doubts. The best person to ask questions to is the person that knows deeply about that subject. And Krishna, he made everything. He's God. So who better to ask than God? So then there's a huge conversation. And the Bhagavad-Gita literally means the song of God. It's this conversation. But the second chapter, and the Bhagavad-Gita, in its chapters, it goes through a very nice order. There are 18 chapters, and the first 6 chapters, Krishna talks about, I think, Karma Yoga. And the next 6 are about Bhakti Yoga. And the next 6 are about Jnana Yoga. So which is the best yoga? He's covered 3. So like a sandwich, the best part of the sandwich is the middle bit. That's the juicy, nice, flavorous bit. Otherwise the bread is not so nice to taste on its own. So Bhakti is the sandwiching bit of the Bhagavad Gita. And then in the 6 middle chapters, Krishna talks about Bhakti. And that's the juiciest part. But what Krishna does in the second chapter is he summarizes the entire Gita in very simple words, just touching on every subject. And we've just finished that. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our great acharyas, is the one that categorized them in this way. So anyways, that's where we're at. And then after this, we're going to start covering Karma Yoga. The most interesting thing, as soon as we start the purport, once, when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet, some of the devotees, they asked, Prabhupada, how long does it take to become Krishna conscious? We've been here for millions of lifetimes. You've told us. We've been here for millions of lifetimes. Birth after birth after birth, going to school, going to work, making a family, starting it over and over and over again. When is the time that we become Krishna conscious? How long does it take? Surely it's going to take a long time. Prabhupada cut them off whilst they were speaking and said, 1 minute. That's all it takes. 1 minute. That's all it takes. 1 minute is the time it takes to become Krishna conscious. How long does it take to surrender everything to Krishna? 1 minute, 1 moment. But it's also a gradual process because we, as devotees here, we've come to the temple, we are searching for that minute. We're training ourselves for that 1 minute. we're chanting, we're reading, we're coming to the temple, we're meeting the devotees, years maybe, months, all in search of that 1 minute, the golden minute. So that's all it takes to become Krishna conscious. It takes 1 minute to love Krishna. Love is the most ultimate thing in our life. Recently we had Valentine's Day. Everybody celebrated? Asked your Valentine, will you be my Valentine? Valentine's Day was 1 week ago. Does anybody know the story of Valentine's Day? I was just hearing it recently. Nowadays we think Valentine's Day is like all love hearts and roses and ask your significant other, will you be my Valentine? Valentine party, Valentine ball in schools they have. I was reading up on it, I was listening about it the other day. It's actually, Valentine comes from the one saint from medieval times called Saint Valentine. Well, his name was Valentino. And a Christian saint, I thought, since this used to be a church, let's talk about this Christian saint. He used to live in Rome, and he was a saint. At the time in Rome, through the Roman and Greek mythology, they would only worship 10 gods. And anything out of this was blasphemy. It's against the Roman way. But Saint Valentine was a Christian preacher. He was a saint. And he went to Rome, but you'd get persecuted if you preached about Christ, about God. So everybody was only preaching this 10. And they found out that he was a Christian preacher and he believed in a God that was other than the 10 gods. So they locked him up. But a lot of the people of Rome, they had some respect for Saint Valentine. So they locked him up in a cell. And even the jailers were thinking, this is such a nice chap. Why are you locking him up? So they thought, okay, lock him up. But the jailer of the jail, he thought, but he's a very big scholar. There's not that many learned people in Rome. So I'm going to get my daughter to learn from him about life. So he would send his daughter to the cell and they'd have conversations. The daughter would ask questions about life, what's going on. And eventually, if you study life in general, eventually the topic of God is going to come up. So then the daughter, she asks, what is this God? So in some kind of ecstasy, Saint Valentine starts talking about God, Christian version, idea of God. And at the time, the daughter, she was actually blind from birth. So she asked Saint Valentine, if I pray to God and I surrender to him, will he give me my sight back? He said, yes. If you pray to God sincerely, he can do anything. He's the master of all. So then, she was praising this God, Christian God. Eventually, she stopped seeing him and they would exchange letters. And the letters, he'd say, yes, my child, God is this, he's so loving, he's so wonderful, he's the master of our life. And one of the government officers, they found the letter. Right, send him for execution. The next day, after that letter was found, he was sent to be executed, and that day was Valentine's Day. But why do we celebrate Valentine's Day? Because it's a gesture of love. Love, the true sense of love, is love related to God. None of this schmoozing, woozing, Valentine's Day, will you be my Valentine? Of course, that's nice, love everyone. But the idea of Valentine's Day is actually a very spiritual day, because it's an idea of surrender everything and love God. And it's the idea that you should take on hardship so that you could pursue, and everyone can pursue, love of God. Even in our own culture, our own philosophy, we have stories of this. If you look at ISKCON in the 80s and 90s, how many of you know what ISKCON was going through during that time? In Russia, there were devotees forming in Russia. But at the time, it was the Soviet Union. And so anything to do with God was completely banned. You'd be executed, you'd be tortured, you'd do whatever. But the devotees were forming there. They had some attraction to this Krishna. Who is Krishna? Oh, Krishna is very beautiful. Krishna, his philosophy is very nice. It's very different to this grey, atheist philosophy. So everyone was getting, lots of people. It was nationally becoming a huge problem. I think they said, the Russian government made a statement saying, we have 3 enemies in the Soviet Union. One is, I forgot what it is. It was like terrorism, this, and the Krishna devotees. It was that much of a problem. The Soviet Union, the biggest everyone in all over the world, every country was scared of the Russians. Soviet Union, very powerful. So they said one of their biggest problems was these devotees. So devotees back then, they would meet, and in hiding from the KGB, they'd run, and underground they'd preach Krishna consciousness. They'd print the books, Bhagavad-Gita that we're reading today. They would hand print them. None of this like electronic printers. They would copy everything by hand, and they'd produce it more and more and distribute it like drugs. And then devotees would import Bhagavad-Gitas and books to Soviet Russia, and it was so dangerous. One of our great sannyasis, one of their mission was, they were a book distributor. So they tried to import a bunch of books. They drove a van from somewhere in Europe all the way to Russia, and they had to hide it, contraband. So then he decided, let me take a dog with me, because dogs were not allowed to go past the border. You need the proper licensing. And he got stopped at the border, and the Russian Soviet soldiers, they saw the dog and said, you can't have a dog, you can't have a dog. They made a huge fuss about it. And they took away the dog. And I said, all right. And he acted as if he was crying. No, my dog, my dog. And then they let the books through, because they didn't know. So all of this stuff, devotees were scheming how to preach this love of God, Krishna. They went through so much hardship. There's so many stories. I would suggest, if you ever find it, there's a book called Salted Bread. Beautiful book. It's about all the stories of the devotees in Russia during that time. If you read that book, you're bound to have tears, because it's so moving how the devotees would just push through so much hardship. But yet, their love for Krishna was so strong, they were willing to go through it. It's profoundly inspiring. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our acharyas in our parampara, the second from the right, he said in some of his books, in worship of God or religion in any way, the lowest standard or quality of worship is worship out of fear. Bhaya, fear. But that's happening in the world. Because that's not love, you don't worship someone out of fear, that's not great. I'm God-fearing. These are all wonderful God-fearing devotees. Why fear God? He's God, he should be loving, he's our Father. No, you should fear God. If you do this, you'll spend eternity, not even an ending to that, eternity in hell, burning, suffering there, because you didn't believe in God. Wow, that's fearful. Just because I didn't believe something. I believe in Santa Claus. I don't get any repercussion from that. Bigfoot, all this kind of stuff. Just what you believe. Eternity. Never ending. One way. That's it. You go to hell. That's scary. So that kind of worship is not so nice. If someone serves you out of fear, it's not so relishable. Then the next, a little bit of a higher quality of worship is one out of hope or expectation. If I do this for someone, they'll give me something in return, But that's not so nice either, This is my business associate, not my friend, he's my business associate, because we trade in business. He gives me something, I give him something back. That's not such a close relationship. So worshipping out of expectation. God, if you let me pass my test tomorrow, I will give up meat. I will go to the temple every week. I will do this, I will do that, if you do this for me. If you don't do it for me, get lost. That's not such a high level of worship. And an even higher level of worship is one out of duty or gratitude. If someone's done something for you, you're genuinely grateful. So I want to do something back for them. But that's like half the business mentality. They've done something for me, therefore, by the laws of business, I have a debt pending with them. So I should do something back to them. God, you've given me such a nice life, no problems, financially stable. All right, let me do something for you, which is nice. But the highest level of worship is one out of love, where you don't care what they do for you. Even if they send you to the pits of hell, I love you still. This is the level that these devotees in Russia were experiencing things at. God, our friends, our society, devotees are suffering. They're being tortured, they're being kidnapped. But we still love you. That's deep. That's the highest level of understanding of God. So that's what we're aiming for. Nothing out of duty, nothing out of tradition, nothing out of fear. We're just trying to do things out of love. That is what we're aiming for. That 1 minute that we're aiming for is to do it out of love. Believe in God, worship God out of love, realize God out of love. So, love is the only thing that will actually fulfill us. Everyone in the world, there's something missing in our hearts. Because everybody is finding different things. I've got this hobby, I'm doing that. It makes me happy. I like to do this hobby. Everyone's trying to find something that fills that gap in their heart. What do you like to do? I like exercise, the gym. My body's really nice. I like feeling nice. But still, something is there. No matter how much fame you have, no matter how much riches you have, people still can't fill that gap. Isn't it interesting? If you have everything, you still can't fill that gap. Even if you're religious, even if you believe in God, something is there missing. Because people act out sometimes. I don't know who's been keeping up with the news. I don't want to say it. Epstein files. Big news. So, are you telling me all of these celebrities, all of these rich people, all of these elites, they're corrupt? They're doing all of these things. But they have everything. Why would they do that? Because their heart is not filled. They have all the riches in the world. They have all the fame in the world. Michael Jackson, most famous person in the entire world. Yet still not satisfied. Even God-fearing people, even so-called religious people, they're not satisfied, so they act out because they're not acting out of love. They believe in God, but still, that loving reciprocation, that loving relationship is not there. That gap is still there. It's like when you're a kid, there's these puzzles, these games that you get as a kid, and there's like different shapes, and you have to match the shape, and you have to put the block of that shape in there. But people, they're just trying to put the wrong block in, It's just not filling. How to do. So, this love, the proper word we use is prema. This is what we're trying to search for. At the end of the day, all of these temples, all of these projects, all of this cooking, all of this meeting with each other, all of this big projects, all of it is just so we can get some prem. Everything. So yeah. And so we said all this celebrity stuff going on in the world right now, in the news. So you can tell this is quite bad. This is Kali Yuga. We say the 4 ages, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is the worst. Quarrel, hypocrisy. You're seeing the signs, This is bad. But we have a solution. Out of all of this stuff that's going on, we have a solution. We all know, I think none of us are quite that new, the best thing in this Kali Yuga to get prema is what? Nobody knows? Chanting the holy names. Yes. This chanting the holy names is the only way. It's so simple. You might just miss it. This chanting the holy names is so nice. This is the thing that will get us prema. And who was it introduced by? Lord Chaitanya. Who here knows Lord Chaitanya? Put your hand up. Alright, most of us anyways. Lord Chaitanya. As we know, Krishna comes every time there's a bit of trouble here. He comes, let me help them out. Let me go, manage. So when this was all happening, 500 years ago, Lord Chaitanya came. And he made it so accessible. At the time, all of the big elites, now we have different kinds of elites, but that time, all of the big elites, again, they were all corrupt. At the time, all of the saints, supposed saints, they started misinterpreting the Vedic scriptures. This group of people, they are untouchable. What a word, untouchable. If you associate with them, if they come in the temple, everybody will become impure. Don't touch them. Don't talk to them. Don't receive anything from them. They are untouchable. This class system was there. They are not pure, therefore don't associate with them. People were Brahmins, but yet they were using Vedic scriptures and saying, it's okay, eat meat. It says it right here. They were misinterpreting. Kill animals, slaughter them. At the time, different religious movements were there, and they were taking over India, the world, and so much corruption was going on. So this was the time. Lord Chaitanya has to come. We spoke a few weeks ago, we had our little mini festival, Advaita Acharya. He saw everything that was going on. He called, Krishna, this is all going on. Please come here. Please come. You're the only person that can fix all this. Not an empowered devotee. You, yourself, you have to handle it. Sometimes managers, to sort something out, I'll send one of my subordinates to go and fix it. But when the problem is really bad, that even the trained subordinates can't even fix, all right, I'll go myself. I'll teach them how to do it properly. Like when sometimes in primary school, you learn how to do your handwriting. And you learn there's little exercises to do. But sometimes when a kid is just not getting it, they just don't understand handwriting, the teacher grabs their hand and moves their hand for them. Look, this is how you do it. Does it make sense now? This is how you do it. So this is what Lord Chaitanya did. Krishna himself came as Lord Chaitanya. The beautiful, merciful Lord Chaitanya, also known as Gouranga. Anga means body. Gaura means golden or illuminated. Golden body. A few years ago, back a few decades ago, in the UK, some of the devotees, they were so fired up, they had this Gouranga campaign. Some of the Scottish devotees, northern devotees mostly. Gouranga means Krishna. They're the same person. But Gouranga, Lord Chaitanya, he's so much more merciful. He'll accept anybody, no matter who you are, no matter how much you offend God. He'll accept you. You come, it's fine. You're not untouchable. I'll hug you. So Lord Chaitanya was so merciful. Anybody and anyone could come. Anybody and anyone could get prema. Before, it was just the brahmanas. No, we are born in this. My father taught me. You can't do it. I can do it. You can't. Lord Chaitanya broke down the storehouse of love of God and he distributed it to everyone, no matter who you are. Even the animals. There's a pastime, I don't know if anyone has seen the painting. Lord Chaitanya, in pure love of God, he went to the Jarikhand forest, and in pure love of God, he was singing. Then, the forest animals, they started dancing. What? Forest animals dancing? Lord Chaitanya was singing, he was dancing. The forest animals, the tigers were hugging the deers, not eating them, not hunting them. They were hugging them, and they were dancing. This is possible, only with Krishna comes. Anyways, Gouranga is so merciful. So the devotee said, sometimes people don't chant Hare Krishna. So let's make it even more simple for them. They should chant Gouranga. Very simple. Everybody say, Gouranga. Gouranga. Yes. So Gouranga, so simple to say. It has the same potency as the holy name. So let's just make everybody say Gouranga. So the devotees in the middle of the night, in different cities, they would go to many cities around the country and they would start graffitiing. Graffitiing. On bridges, on walls, in popular cities. Gouranga. And now, you can still see some of them. If you go to Manchester, if you go to Scotland, if you go to sometimes on the motorway, you'll see on a bridge, Gouranga. And anybody who doesn't even know about Krishna, doesn't know about, Vedic theology, philosophy, they would read it, Gouranga, and they'd say it. There it goes. They've got the benefit. They've got the name. They've chanted it. That's the potency. In Newcastle, the temple president there, he was part of this party. And he has massive tattoo on his forearm, Gouranga. Everywhere, everybody devoted, Gouranga, Gouranga, Gouranga. So beautiful. So anyways, but can you imagine, this is a service? My grandmother, when she came to Stoke, some of you met her, in her local temple, she can't fathom that service means something other than like the temple stuff, making garlands for the deities, and sweeping the temple, cleaning the temple, stuff like that. She thinks that's service. Anything else, she can't fathom, So, can you imagine that service can be done in so many different ways? Even graffitiing, something illegal, that's service. How nice. We're spiritual rebels, rebellious in nature. So anything can be service. If you graffiti Gouranga, I'm not, because this is being recorded, I'm not condoning this. I forgot this is being recorded. We're not condoning this. But we are rebellious in nature. So yes, Lord Chaitanya came. We are all descendants of Lord Chaitanya. We are here today. You don't have to be born into it. Your family doesn't have to know about it, Because we are here, we are devotees. We're trying to be. We are coming to the temple. We are all descendants. Those are our ancestors. We are in Lord Chaitanya's family. Which is inspiring, because if you look at all of the great souls coming down our line, their stories, very inspiring. That's my great-great-great-great-grandfather? Very nice. It's very inspiring. So this Lord Chaitanya, most merciful, most magnanimous form of Krishna. He's the Lord of our life. Krishna, he is none different from Krishna. When Lord Chaitanya appeared on the world, when he was a baby, he would already show kind of symptoms symptoms of love of God. And he would show sometimes, yes, I am God. He came hidden. He was meant to come as a devotee. But still, Krishna is so great, even when he tries to act as a devotee, you can still tell, all right, stop playing your act. You're Krishna. When he was a baby, Lord Chaitanya, his name was Nimai. Nimai, because he was born under the neem tree. And Nimai, as a baby, he would cry a lot. So a lot of the villagers, they would get a little bit, how do we stop making him cry? He was crying and crying and crying, and nothing was pacifying him. Do you want food? Do you want milk? Does your nappy need to be changed? So then we don't know what to do. One devotee just said, Hare Krishna, out of frustration. Nimai stopped. He stopped crying. And then he started crying again. So the devotee said, I think he likes the holy name. So all of the devotees, all of the residents of Navadvip, they started chanting Hare Krishna. They started naming Krishna, saying names of Krishna. And Nimai not just stopped crying, he started smiling. This beautiful baby, this beautiful golden baby was smiling and laughing like a baby does, very cute laugh that charms everyone's heart. So straight away, Krishna, you've come to show that your holy name is the best. This bhakti that we have, we shouldn't take it light, for granted. I was reflecting on this recently. Out of everything we have in our life, all of us here, the most valuable thing that we have is our own bhakti. Everything. All the riches you have, all of the Range Rovers you have, all of the family members you have, all of the connections you have. I'm successful. I've got a nice job. Everything is so worthless compared to our bhakti. Because the bhakti, that stays with us. And if we just let it go, all right, let me stop coming to the temple. I'm a bit busy. I should switch my priorities. You'll feel it in a few weeks. You don't feel happy anymore. You don't feel content anymore. I felt it. I was away for 3 weeks. I went to uni. And I felt it. As soon as I came back in the temple this morning, I was like, this is our temple. I feel at home now. So this bhakti is so valuable. It's more precious than any gem in the entire world. Chintamani, that's the most valuable gem in the world, in the universe. Bhakti is more precious than that. Don't take it for granted. Sometimes Lord Chaitanya, he would go, a lot of the females in Navadvip at the time, they would offer nice foodstuffs to the different demigods. And the demigods, they are servants of Krishna. So, but they have Krishna right there. Surely the demigods would like to offer their offerings to Krishna. So the different residents of Navadvip, they were offering different items. And they would offer, and when they would close their eyes and they'd, look away, all the offerings, they would see, Nimai, that little prankster Nimai, he'd take the offerings and start eating it off the plates of the demigods. So they would scold him, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is the offering to the demigods. But he's Krishna. And Krishna is a prankster in Vrindavan. Everybody knows this. Everybody. So this aspect of Krishna was showing. Nimai was saying, what nonsense are you talking about? He's disrespecting the demigods. What nonsense are you talking about? They are my loyal servants. I can eat it if I want to. Can you imagine? Milena, if you just start eating the offering that's going to come here, everybody, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, I am Krishna. I am the Lord of all. All right, calm down. Calm down. Getting a bit too big for your boots. This is what was happening. And this is Nimai. His pranking nature was coming out. He was showing though. But sometimes devotees, even when they see God, their love is so great they can't see God. That's the Vrindavan mood. God is so amazing, but the highest level of prema, the highest level of love, is that he is our boy. He is our little child, So even the residents of Navadvip, all right, Nimai, you're getting a bit too big for your boots. So they couldn't see, it's Krishna. So this whole life, there's so many different stories and pastimes of Nimai in Navadvip. Cute little Nimai. As Nimai got older, Nimai, because Navadvip at the time, it was the most biggest capitals for scholars to learn. At the time, there were different educational cities. Kashmir, back in the day, used to be the land of the scholars. Many scholarly people would go and learn there because the best teachers were there, the best universities were there. In the Vedic scriptures, in everything, singing, all of these arts of life. So Navadvip was one of these capitals. So people would go there to learn. Great big pundits and teachers would go there. So Nimai, his father, was also a great scholar. So Nimai naturally took up a scholarly life. He was learning. But his field was grammar, Sanskrit grammar. Because Sanskrit is such a advanced language, one word can mean 16 different things, depending on where the dot is, if you've seen in the Gita, where the accent is, where stress of the word is. Is it pushpam or pushpam? 5 different words can come from that, 5 different meanings. So grammar is such a very big art, very big scholarly thing. So then after some time, Nimai became an expert. So then he started teaching. This is when he didn't really show himself as Krishna. It was brewing. The time was not right. So Nimai, he'd have students. After some time, Nimai Pandit, this love of God started churning in his heart. He couldn't hold it back anymore. Because Nimai, Lord Chaitanya came in the mood of Radharani. And Radharani is the best devotee. So much of a good devotee that the symptoms of devotion look like madness, insanity to a material perspective. It's so sweet, it's so unfathomable. So, Lord Chaitanya slowly started brewing that love of Krishna. And once this love was brewing, there was one day he went to teach his students. And when he went to teach his students were asking, they asked him a question. Nimai Pandit Ji, what is the root origin word of some word? I don't know. But what is the origin word? Like in English, we have Latin origin words, Religion comes from the word religare from Latin. So there can be origin words. So then Nimai answered the question. The root of this word is Krishna. No, it's not. It's a completely different word. I said, all right, we'll accept it because you're our teacher. What is the root origin word of this word? And he'd say, Krishna. It can't both be the same thing, all right? What is the root origin word of this word? Krishna. And then they'd ask, how is it? Because Krishna is the source of everything. Every single thing comes from Krishna. Comedy comes from Krishna. Knowledge comes from Krishna. Beauty comes from Krishna. All of the vowels of the alphabet, they come from Krishna. Everything comes from Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. Krishna is your source. He's your mother. He's your father. He's your grandfather. He is the source of everybody here. He is the source of all of us. Krishna is the origin. And then he went into ecstasy. Once he started saying Krishna, he couldn't stop saying Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna Keshava, Gopal, Govinda, Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He went in complete ecstasy. It looked like madness. So then after some time, I think around an hour went by. Once he started saying Krishna, 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 he started glorifying Krishna randomly in complete ecstasy. Tears were coming from his eyes. Krishna, 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 Hari, Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, Yadavai Namaha, Yadavai Madhavai Keshavai Namaha. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol. And then all of the students, they started dancing in ecstasy. The lesson just stopped there. Everyone broke out into kirtan. And the most ecstatic kirtan took place between the students. And eventually, Lord Chaitanya Nimai Pandit stopped. He fainted. He came back to external consciousness. Then he said to his students, "What happened?" And Lord Chaitanya, he got explained to him. "You went into ecstasy. We did a kirtan. We started talking about the glories of Krishna. How long ago was that? A few hours. I'm sorry. I think I went into ecstasy or something. Something happened to me. I'm sorry to break off our grammar lesson like this." But the students, they said, "No, actually everything you were saying was completely right. Krishna is the origin of everything. Even us, as great scholars, we've learned for years and years and years about grammar. Everything made sense. Nothing was out of the ordinary. You were true in your sense of saying that." I said, "All right. But I think I'm going to quit my job now. My love for Krishna is just too much. I can't handle this. I can't talk about grammar. Grammar is such a lowly subject compared to talk about Krishna. I'm going to quit." So he resigned there and then. But then the students were so disheartened. "You can't resign. You're our teacher. You're our guru. If you resign, we'll resign." As students, they dropped out. There and then, all the students and Lord Chaitanya dropped out. And then, even more love of Krishna was brewing in Navadvip. Now, everybody that came across this Sankirtan movement, they would start getting love of God, love of Krishna. Everybody that would hear it, they'd start chanting and dancing in the street. But at the time, there was like in the Soviet Russia Union, it was a bit banned. At the time, there was a different regime going on, different religious regime. So then, Lord Chaitanya, Advaita Acharya, and all the other devotees, they would go into Srivas Thakur's house, one of the associates of the Panchatattva, on the very right, that's Srivas Thakur. And they would go to his house, and continuously, day after day, night after night, they would just do kirtan in that small room. Something more was brewing here. Ecstasy was going there. Lord Chaitanya, sometimes he couldn't stop himself from being shown as Krishna. So he would show his form as Krishna there. Everybody in the room would get darshan of Krishna. Doors were closed. Everybody's not ready to see. Many things went on, night after night, hour after hour. Kirtan, kirtan, kirtan. Eventually, some of the neighbors started complaining, as they do. Even for our 4-hour kirtan, we can't go too late because the neighbors, we don't want to disturb them. So the neighbors started complaining. But they were also Vaishnavas. They were somewhat devotees. But they were, again, out of fear. They didn't want to get any consequences. If the government at the time, the kingly state at the time would find out this is going on, Krishna is being chanted, religious performance out of our ordinary state is being performed, we could get some repercussions. We could go to jail. They could torture us. They could kill us. So they would start complaining. "Don't do it. You're going to get us all killed." But the devotees' love for Krishna was so strong, they couldn't stop. How can you say, "I can't chant Krishna's name"? To do that is to kill me. So, the devotees, they continued. There's a whole other pastime. The neighbors, they complained. And the soldiers of the kingdom, they came to find out this was going on. They took a ban, they did a complete ban to it. They broke the mridanga drum I'm summarizing. But they broke the mridanga drum. They said, enough of this kirtan, otherwise we'll kill you all. Alright. Lord Chaitanya, in complete fury that Krishna's name could not be chanted, said, let's go out on protest. Protesting is not a new thing, Reform, UK. It's not a new thing. This was the original Krishna conscious protest. And nowadays protests are violent. Sometimes you see the police officers, they'll hose down people on the street and they'll start fighting, they'll start breaking shops, start breaking the glass on shops and fighting each other from opposing sides. But this protest, millions of people formed, millions is described, on the streets of Navadvip. And with torches in hand, they all started doing kirtan. If you stop us from doing kirtan, we'll just do it even harder. So all of them, groups of millions of devotees, they formed on the streets, walking towards the palace, protesting in Harinam. This was going on. Now, the Qazi at the time, the Qazi person in charge, Chand Qazi, he put a stop to this. But now, messages were coming to his palace. Millions of people are coming towards the palace right now in complete protest. And he didn't think much of it. But then in the night, I'm summarizing again, there's so much detail, but I thought we'll speak anyways. So much kirtan was going on. So the Chand Qazi thought, I'll sleep it off. And in the night time, in his dream, Chand Qazi saw Narsimhadev. Narsimhadev was sitting at the end of his bed, holding him down with his sharp nails, his large hands. And he scolded Chand Qazi. You stop my Harinam, you affect my devotees, you are endangering my devotees. If this continues, I'll end you. Chand Qazi was shivering in fear. So then he allowed, after that, all of the kirtan to go on. And eventually, there's so much pastime, but we don't have time to say. Eventually, he met Mahaprabhu. He was convinced by him. And he became a devotee, Chand Qazi. If you go to Mayapur today, you can still go to his samadhi. And many of the Vaishnavas there, many of our devotees, they go and visit his samadhi. Because although he was really giving the devotees a headache, not headache, he was torturing and very dangerously harassing the devotees. But still, because he became a devotee, he got as well pure love of Krishna. This was Mahaprabhu's mercy. He'd give it to every single person. Every single person. The storehouse of love of God had just been broken down. Everybody and anybody was getting it. You don't have to be qualified, because Mahaprabhu will just give it to you. You can't even offend him in any way. He'll just give it to you. So then, after that, this Sankirtan movement was spreading the world more and more. It had spread across all of India. Even if you go to today, in South India, which is hundreds of miles away from Mayapur, Navadvip, there are people who have experienced this Harinam from Mahaprabhu. You were showing me that there are some families in South India, I think Sri Rangam, and their ancestors got love of Krishna from Mahaprabhu. And still today in South India, where you think there wouldn't be this, kirtan culture, there are devotees on the street chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Bol. Everywhere you could see. And now, but that was just the beginning. After Mahaprabhu left this world, so many devotees were there across India. But their love of Krishna was so strong that they just wanted to internalize that love. Mahaprabhu came to preach. He came to give it to everybody. Therefore, the devotees' mission was also give it to everybody. But the devotees' love was so strong, they just internalized that love. They didn't preach. They stayed in Navadvip, Vrindavan, and they just let me become the best devotee. Let me try and, not best devotee, let me try and increase my love as much as possible. So for 500 years after Mahaprabhu's time, around 400 years actually, 400 years after Mahaprabhu came, where's the Sankirtan movement gone? It's gone. Only in small places around India it's there. So then, we mentioned Bhaktivinoda Thakur 3 times in this class so far. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a contemporary of Mahaprabhu, who came in the line coming from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's described to be the 7th Goswami. In our line, in our parampara, we have six Goswamis. They're said to be the greatest acharyas in our line. 6. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur described to be the 7th. He's that great. And he decided, he saw it for what it was at India. Where is Mahaprabhu's movement gone? It has to go far and wide. It's paused, let's continue it. So then he was preparing all of this. He sent a book of his called Lord Chaitanya, His Life and Precepts, to Canada, University of Canada, Montreal, in 1896. That was the first literature or seed of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement that went anywhere outside of India. Up until then, the whole world did not know anything about Mahaprabhu. So he sent one book to the library, the university library there. And if you go to Montreal University, it's still there. Okay, a seed has been planted. Dear devotees, that same year is also the birth year of Srila Prabhupada. Cool, huh? That first ever seed of Lord Chaitanya's movement that went outside of India went out in 1896. And that same year, the same person who would water that seed, you could say, and make that seed grow into a beautiful plant of the Sankirtan movement to spread all over the world, that devotee was born, Srila Prabhupada. And you know the rest of the story. Prabhupada went to America, nobody supporting him, at the age of 69, on a cargo ship not built for humans to sail on, and with nothing, and the clothes on his back, we are here today. So we come from this line of Lord Chaitanya, and our grandfathers, they're very great souls. And we are here today. Krishna consciousness, at some point in the 70s, became a household word all over the world. Everybody knew who the Hare Krishnas were. And it's continuing. The moon is rising. Chandra, Gaura Chandra. Mahaprabhu, another name of his is Gaura Chandra, the golden moon. The golden moon is rising. And we are here on that moon rising in Stoke-on-Trent. Beautiful Stoke-on-Trent on this sunny day. So yeah. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Please. Reflections. I get tired of my voice as well. So you should. Yeah, I forgot to say that. Yeah, she got her sight back. And that's why, I think that's when the letters came. So they started exchanging letters. The girl could read and write. So she got the letter and they exchanged letters. And then the government, or the Romans, got to know. So yeah. Hare Krishna. Anybody else? All right. Hare Krishna. Kirtan. All right, we'll have Kirtan now. Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Nama Om Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyatya Dishatarini Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gouranga, Nitai Gouranga. Nitai Gouranga, Nitai Gouranga. Nitai Gouranga, Nitai Gouranga. Nitai Gouranga, Nitai Gouranga. Nitai, 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 Nitai Gouranga. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, 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 oh Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari, Hari, Hari Bol. Hari, 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 Hari Bol. Hari, Hari, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Oh, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, 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 Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Gouranga Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Sachinandana Gaura Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki.
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की ISKCON फाउंडर आचार्य बीबीटी फाउंडर आचार्य शील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्री श्रीमद शील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शील प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय ब्रज भूमि श्री मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय पूर्ण पुरुषोत्तम श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय गंगा मैया की जय जमुना मैया की जय भक्ति देवी की जय तुलसी महारानी की जय गोलोकेर प्रेमधन श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्री ट्रांसcendental प्रसादम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरांग गौर हरि बोल।
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Namaste Narasimhaya.
Praladaladaini. Hiranyakashipurshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimho. Yato yato yamitato Narsimha. Pahe Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho. Narasimha Madhim Sharanam Prapade. Tava Kara Kamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanuvingam Keshavadvita Narahare Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare. Narsimhadev, 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 Jai Narsimhadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. विघ्न विनाशक सिंह भगवान की भक्ति शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नाह ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे स्वल्प पुण्यवतं राजन् विश्वसोन्येन दायते शरीरादित्यजाल जयेन्द्रियता है काल जीवे फैले विषय सागरे तारमते जीवायते लोभोमाय सुदुर्मते ताके जेता कटन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ दयामय करी बार जीव जाय स्वल्प भाई शयनामृत पाओ राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेम दे कौची तेजन निताय जय निमाय जय निताय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव साधि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महाप्रसादम की
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON Stoke, I welcome you all to our sunny Sunday feast program. After so many months, our Surya Devi is entering through the windows of our temple. Looks like summer is beginning. Traditionally it is said the summer starts from a festival called Holi in India. And that day actually is the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for devotees, the summer starts from Gaur Purnima. So today, Balram spoke mostly about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his class today, because we are preparing for a grand festival of Shri Gaur Purnima. Shri Gaur Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki jai. So Gaur Purnima is coming on 3rd of March, which is on Tuesday. Now we do not have program on weekdays, we only have on Sunday the program. So because we can't have program on that day, we're going to have 2 programs. So next Sunday, which is 1st March, will be our program is just dedicated to prepare our consciousness for Gaur Purnima. So we'll be talking about various pastimes of Gaur Purnima and how we can prepare our consciousness to receive Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in our life. Then on 8th of March, the following Sunday, we'll have the grand festival of Gaur Purnima, where we'll have Abhishek ceremony, we'll have a nice kirtan, a special class on the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we are going to likely to have a very nice drama on the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Would you like to see drama? Yeah, we all like drama. So there is a drama on the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 2 Sundays we'll have the program, 1st March and 8th of March. Please do try to come on both Sundays. And of course there will be a big feast on Sunday, so don't miss out on that one. But remember, the festival is on, actual Gaur Purnima is on 3rd of March. Generally devotees on that day, they fast till moonrise. Lord Chaitanya, when he appeared, that was a full moon day. It was actually a moon eclipse. So Lord Chaitanya appeared after the moonrise. So we'll be fasting till moonrise. So those who want to observe fast, please observe fast till moonrise, and then you can have some prasadam. Hare Krishna. At this time, we'd like to welcome any new guest who may have come for the first time or after a long time. Anybody has come the first time or a long time, just raise your hand. So if you Hare Krishna. First time, Mataji? Hare Krishna. Would you like to introduce yourself if you don't mind? Maya? Oh. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Maya. You live in Stoke? Oh, wonderful. So welcome, Maya, by 3 times loudly chanting, Haribo, Haribo, Haribo. So Maya, we lovingly welcome you in our congregation. And you are free to, please come, feel free to come any Sunday you feel like. We also have a program on Wednesday evening, where we, in a small group, we discuss some ancient Vedic stories from the book called Srimad Bhagavatam. So most welcome to join us for that as well. Hare Krishna. So we're ready for prasadam. Prasadam is served upstairs. Thank you all very much. Oh yeah, there's Ekadashi on Friday. So we do a lot of feasting, but sometimes we do fasting also. So the Ekadashi is on Friday. So those who want to observe Ekadashi, you can observe Ekadashi fast on the Friday. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please make your way upstairs for the prasadam. Also, our shop is open, so please, if you want to buy any devotional things, please buy from the shop.